Hello, everybody. Welcome to IST 140. I'm, of course, Professor S. This is today's lecture, and I know what you're here for. To go over the stuff we went over in class. Anyways, so what we did was we did a walkthrough over the past couple of days, and I wanted to put it all together. That's why I'm doing it all in one thing. And so I'm actually breaking apart the walkthrough. So there was a thing that I gave you, and I copied and pasted it, and we're going to do all of them except these. Not going to do those. Not yet. We'll do those later, next week. Let's see. And so that starts here, and let's see, random. There you go. There we go. So this is all that we're doing. Awesome. All right. So anyways, let's get into what we're doing. I have the outline and we're going to fill in the blanks as we go along here. All right. So first thing is like, let's, I guess, go over what we're talking about. So ask the user for a bunch of strings, and then we're going to bubble sort the words, print the list of sorted words, and print the list of sorted words minus the last element. And so if we're prompting the user for a thing and storing it as array list, that's our first thing here. We need to make sure we import those. And so before I get into how we're going to do some of these things, I want to cool. So I got the packages loaded up. There you go. That looks much better. All right. So first thing is ask the user for a bunch of strings. So where you have the scanner already included. I don't need this extra line here. So we're prompting user for a bunch of words. And so since we're prompting information, so I'm going to say get user info. Or user words. There you go. Let's see, return type. It says an array list of strings. So array list string. And it doesn't say that we have any parameters, so we're not adding anything. So we're good. All right, so we're scanning, get the words as a string. So we'll say, we'll prompt the user, we'll say print, do it on the next line. Enter in string to be sorted, or strings to be sorted. All right, with a space between them. Then we have the scanner object already created, so we're going to do string, call it user string str, and that's going to be in dot next line. Okay, because we want those spaces in there. Otherwise, if we did just next, it would just cut out all the space. It would just do the thing to the next space. Next, it wants us to convert everything, the strings, into an array list. So that's what, if you can see what this is right here, convert string to an array list, that's going to be our next method. And we'll call that convert to AL, but we'll sort as an array list. So we'll first start off with an array list. It's got to be a string because that's what we're looking to do. We call this user AL. And this is using convert to AL. And we're going to put in our user str. Now notice it's red. It's because we haven't made it yet. That's the next thing that we'll do. But I just figure we know that we're converting this string into a array list, and we want to store it in here, and then we want to return it. So we'll do return user AL. Awesome. So now let's work on conversion process. So for this method, it converts to a string into an array list. So word list is our parameter. So and we call this convert to AL. It says that the parameter is a word list, or is word list. And that's what we're going to, when we use it, we're putting in there whatever the user entered before, which is, we called it user string. And then it says the return type is an array list, a string array list. Now that we have our method all begun, remember we're taking a string and putting it in the word list. And so what we're going to do is create objects. Then we're going to put divide elements into, or divide string into elements for our array list. And then return AL. All right, so create objects. So first thing that we're going to do is let's just create an array list. So let's do array. And then let's see, what do we want to call it? Word AL. Because I don't want to do word list because that's already our parameter. All right, and so we got to do new array list string. Now remember, it's like as the IDE hints, the compiler will work this way if you don't put something in here. But I want to see it, so make sure you have this thing here. This class matches this method right here, okay? Otherwise, you're going to get points taken off. So we're creating a new array list, and after this, we have an array list called word AL, and it's going to have nothing in it until we add to it. And so we're going to scan the string for each of the spaces, and each space is going to add to that list. So I need to create a scanner object. I'll just use in again. And then let's see, we'll do new scanner, but we're not scanning the command line, we're scanning the string, word list. And then this is the array list that we're returning, so return AL, or word AL. All right, and so the way that we're going to do this is we don't know how many words are in this string, right? We just want it to just keep going until it runs out. So if you remember, keep scanning for ints until it runs out of ints or something else is entered. Remember that was has next int. Well, in this case, it's if we're just keep scanning while there's something, it's just going to be has next. So let's just do that. So while in dot has next, there we go. So while it keeps coming up with a string, we want to store that string to the list. So we want to do word AL add, and then we're going to do in dot next. Okay. Or like maybe even easier to follow along is we do string word is equal to that, and then we just put in word each time. Okay. And so now this should work. So let's kind of test this out so far. I'm going to scroll up here, convert to, oh, here, look at that. I didn't spell the same way. So see how it's like convert to AL, and I thought I had the same thing here, but notice that it's not, right? There's an extra T in here. There we go. Now it's saying the same thing and it's being used. So now what I want to do is get user words and store it as it's returning as an arrayless string. So that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to do, probably helps if I spell arrayless correctly. Words is, call this word list, or user words. And we're going to use our new thing, which is get user words. Okay. And then let's print that off. We'll do an enhanced for loop. So we'll print off each element. So then we'll do, for each element is a string, and we want to call each one of these elements a word, and it's coming from user words. Okay. Actually, you know what? Taking a step back, we're going to do the print the list of sorted words, except we'll just switch out the sorted array list when we get to it. Why is this like this? I feel like this should be... It just feels like it's indented more than it should be. Oh well. Maybe not. All right. Let's see. There was the prints a sorted list. All right. This is what we want. So so this is just printing. We're just going to do void and then print results. And then what it's taking is a array list, word list of words, and printing that off. So we'll do array list string, call it word list, because that's what the parameter calls it. And we're just going to print off every single thing. So for each thing is a string, we'll call it a word, and it's coming from word list. And so we want to print each one of those off. So system out. Oh, we want this all to be on the same line. And we'll do a space in between it. So we'll do word plus a space. And then once we're done, we want to do next line. There we go. So then it just does it enter at the end. So I'll put this in the print the list of sorted words. Actually, we'll just do print results, and we'll just do user words, right? And it says that it's for it says that it's for a sorted list, and this isn't sorted, but it's just printing it off. Okay. So anyway, so we'll print it off. It didn't say that it would actually sort it. So I hit run, and it doesn't like something. All right, it says something's wrong with, oh, okay. I have to comment some of this out. So it's like all this like stuff that we haven't touched yet. It doesn't like it. So I'm going to comment it out. And then this one's also going to cause some issues. So I'm going to comment this out. And so what I'm doing is just control / and it comments it out. And then to undo it, it's just control / and it's all done. But for the moment, I don't want these to be visible. And so I'm going to do run because we're just testing it. So enter words to be sorted. So it's be hello, these are words. And look, it says hello, these are words. Awesome, right? All right, so let's go to the next thing. So the next thing, oh, we have to sort it. All right, so this is where the bubble sort is. All right, so use bubble sort to sort the array list. And so we have to, the return is an array list, so we have to do array list string, because that's what we're messing with. It's not going to change the type. And it's going to be, because we're just sorting it. You're using bubble sort. Bubble sort's a specific sorting method. It's not an efficient one, but it's like considered a very easy one to follow along with. So that's what we're returning. We're going to call this bubble sort. And then the parameter is our word list that is a unsorted array. So array list string word list. Okay. All right. So copy the array list. So we need to create a new array list. Call it sorted words. New array list string. All right, cool. And then we're going to go through every single item of word list, you know, like with that enhanced for loop. And for each one of those elements, we're going to add it to our new sorted words. So for each thing is a string, call it a word from word list. And so then we're going to take sorted words and add that word to our array list. And so this is, I mean, like one of the things we know for sure is we're going to be returning this. So return sorted words. Awesome. Once it's done. All right, now the hard part of sorting the list. All right, so here I have a notepad, and I'm going to kind of show you what I'm talking about. So if we have these in, we do 4 elements. We'll do like, if it was like A, B, C, and D, it's in the right order, right? But like if we had D, C, B, and A, that's not in the right order, and we have to reorder them, right? And so what we're going to do is we're going to look at them in pairs and like see if the second one comes before the first one. And if it does, we switch them. So in this case, it does. So it's going to be C, D, B, and A, and we move on to the next pair. And so we say, does D come before B? Or it doesn't. Or does B come before D? It does. So we're going to switch those. So we have C, B, D, and A, and we look at the last pair, and we say, does A come before D? It does, so we're going to switch them. So we have C, B, A, and D. Okay. Now we did one whole iteration with that, and notice that it moves that all the way over. So this is where we're going to start first. So we're going to keep on doing these iterations, but let's just focus on doing these first. So notice that we start at this position here, the 0. So remember with these array lists, we have 0 spot, 1, 2, and 3, right? And so we start at 1, and the next one is 1 higher. So whatever this index value is, because we're going to use a for loop, whatever this index value is, it's 1 more. The one that we start off is 0. Okay, so let's go into our thing here. And so we do for int j equals 0, because that's where we want to start. And while j is less than, I mean, like we don't want to go past the amount of elements in our array list, so we do word list dot size. J increases by 1. Actually, it's not really word list that we're doing. It's now we're messing with SRTD words, right? Because it's the same at this point. It's the same. But we want to do, this is the one that we're sorting, so this is the one we want to reference. And so remember we're going to create a string called first, and that's going to be at the j position, right? So remember we have here, the first one we start off is 0, and the next one is 1 plus more. So we do word, or sorted words, get at j, and then we're going to do another string called second, because it's the next one after it, and it's going to be sorted words get, and it's not going to be at j, it's going to be the next one from j. And since these are they increment by positive integers, it's it's whatever j plus 1 is, right? So notice that when it's here, 0 goes to it, the next one is 1. When it's j is 1, the next one is 2, and then when it's 2, it's 3. But also notice that it's like we can't go any further. J, if we make this value j, there's nothing to be the next thing, so we don't want it to go to a. And so if you notice, size here is 5, right? Or sorry, 4. There's 4 here, so j, it's while j is less than this, so it will stop at 3, which makes sense if we're going through every single thing, because remember, this is 0, 1, 2, and 3. But we don't want j to ever be to this last one, because it's also going to compare the next one, so j plus 1. So if j is ever 3, then it's going to look at 4, and there is no fourth term. So we don't want it to go to the very last term. What we wanted to do is do one less. Okay? And then the idea is like we compare the first to the second. Remember, they're strings. So for first, compare to second. And I don't remember which one. Like it's remember, if it's 0, they're the same. Cool. But if it's greater than, does that mean the first one comes first and the second one comes second, or what? Let's just take a guess, and then we'll come back to this if we're wrong and change this. So if this is less than 0, then we switch. And so the way that we switch is we say sorted words set, and then we want j to be the second one, is the one we're switching to, and sorted words dot set j plus 1 is first. So we just switch those positions in our array list. Now we don't need to do any other if statements, because it's just that instance when they're the same or when they're different, right? So like for instance, when we come back, notice like if we were comparing A and D comes after A, so we just would leave it, right? So the only time we want to change is when the right one is comes before the second one comes before the first one. That's the only time. If they're the same, then we keep them the same. We don't need to change them. It's just when that's the case. All right, so we have that. Now we need to do one more for loop. I'm gonna cut, and I'm gonna do for int I for the moment. I know that's incomplete, but we're gonna put that thing in there, okay? And so we want to do this so many times, right? And so let's see how this goes. So we did one iteration here. So I'll do kind of keep track of the iterations by having the space in between it. So now we start over and we do C and B. Well, B comes before C, so we're going to switch those around. So it's going to be B, C, A, and D. And then we move on to the next pair, which is here, C and A. A comes before C, and then we do B, A, C, D. And so we compare those last two, and they don't change, right? Because C comes before D. So that's that iteration. So then we have B, A, C, and D, right? And so now we move on to the new pair. So we have B and A, right? A comes before B, so we switch them. So it is A, B, C, and D. Our new pair that we're looking at now is B and C. that's the right order, so we leave it the same. And so we have A, B, C, and D. And so we look at these last two. They're the same, and then that's it. It just stays the same. So notice it took us going through this whole thing 3 times. Now, if you think about it, this is 4 elements. If we had 5 elements, would it be the same amount of things? No. I think it's one less, once again, I mean, like, remember, we did this one less than the amount of times that we did these, right? So I'm going to say it's -1. Okay, so what we do, well, I is less than sorted words size -1. There we go. And so now it'll do those iterations that many times. Okay, so we'll do this for loop 3 times, right? We have 0, 1, or yeah, 0, 1, 2, and then the third. So remember, this is, if we put in those 4 elements, it'd be 4 minus 1 is 3. So it just does 0, 1, and 2, right? Because 2 is the highest number that is less than 3 from 0. Okay, so it does those 3. Let's see how this works. Like, so we don't need this anymore. And then sort the bubble words. So our new array list string is sorted words. And that equals bubble sort, but we're putting in our user words. Not get user words, just user words. And then we're going to print the sorted words. So print results sorted words. Right? There we go. All right, so it likes it. Let's give this a try. And we're going to put in the same things that we put in before. So I'm going to do D, C, B, A. Okay? And actually, I'm going to, well, we'll just leave this for now. Right? And so look at that. It does it in the right order. If we had guessed wrong with the, oh no, we did guess wrong. Look, it's the wrong order. So what we need to do is we need to go back to how we decided what the right order was, because we weren't sure, right? Because it like, maybe we could look it up, but I mean, it just doesn't take that long. So it's either less than or greater than, right? So it doesn't look like the less than's working, so we'll try the greater than. So then when we try this, D, C, B, A, notice that it switches it in the correct order. Okay. Also notice, let's try this a longer thing. So I'm going to do E, D, C, B, A. I'm going to copy this because I'm going to keep on using it. All right. And look, it does it in the right order. Now, maybe we were unsure about like some of these things. So like maybe we were just like, well, what if we don't have this here? What happens? Like, so instead of doing it 3 iterations, we do it 4 iterations. Does it change our value? I mean, it still gives us the same answer. Let's see. Let's try like doing more. So let's try doing 5, or not equals, but plus. Okay. So it's doing 4 plus 5, and it's doing that much more iterations. And so then when we do that and we enter in this, it also has that. So is it actually doing something? Let's try the other direction and see what happens when we do -2. Or even let's just do -3, see what happens. So we put it in, we put in our string here, and notice that it is CBADE. So it's doing something, right? Because we have the highest number and second highest number, but that's it. It didn't finish sorting. So the idea is like when we did that -3, it was not enough. If we do -2, is it going to be enough? What do you think? Nope. Look at that. It's better, but it's not enough. And so then if we, oh, I just did the same thing. Let's try doing, instead of -2, we do -1. And that one works, right? So it's at least that -1 is what we need, okay? All right, let's see. So we got the print results. This is the last one to do where we remove the last element, right? So we're going to call this remove last. All right, so it looks like we have a array list that's called word list. Awesome. And then its return type is the same as the parameter, except it's minus last. So it's also an array list. String. All right, so first we got to create duplicate. I don't know, array list string. Call this most. All right, and then we'll create our duplicate. So we do for word string word. And then we add that to our most. So most dot add word. There we go, beautiful. And so now most and word list have the same elements in it. We just need to remove the last. So there's actually what we know for sure is we're going to be returning most. How to remove the last? There's remove with the index value. Now we just need to know what that last value is. Well, we know how many elements are in the array list, right? And so we just do let's think about what that is. So int last, in reference to that, that's what we want. So move dot size. And so hypothetically, let's say that the array list had 5 things in it, right? So then that means that it would be, the elements in order would be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So the last one would be 4. If it was 4 elements, then the last element would be 3. So it's always one less, right? So it's the size -1. And it's not move, it's most. And then we're going to add that last, so this finds that index value because it's the size -1. So if this is 4, then the -1 makes it 3, and then this says remove that index value. Okay, so this is the remove the last value. There's other ways that you could do this. I'm just following these directions, and I don't want to give you too much direction. We talked about another one in class, but like I said, I don't want to make this video too confusing. And so now we're going to do print results again, but instead of the sorted word, we want to remove last, and then we do sorted words. Okay, so then when we put in these values, notice that it puts it in the right order and subtracts that last one. Now, I mean, like we've just been using letters, so what if we did actual things? So like epsilon delta cat bravo alpha. There you go. Does it in that order, right? All right, anyways, that's what we've done over the past couple days. Hopefully this makes sense to you. Go back and visit anything that you need to. We'll be doing more next week. I'll see y'all later. Bye. Hey everyone, hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, please press the like button below. It lets me know I'm doing something right. If you have any questions about any of the content, please send a message to both me and the rest of the teaching team in Canvas, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Don't send it through normal email. You will not get as fast response. If you have any suggestions for how I can make these videos better, please leave in the comments below. Don't forget to roundhouse kick the subscribe button and ring the bell to get notified for the next video. Anyways, I think that's good for now. See y'all later. Bye.